Hello and welcome to the Pesky Panther Pod. My name is Thomas Jones, and I have the pleasure to be brought here with Matt. Matt, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Matt. I live in Albany, New York, and diehard Panther fan from South Florida, born and raised, and will be till I die. So, as you can see in my Twitter handle.
Yep, absolutely, Matt. Matt and I we went to college together. Both love the Panthers. Both found out we're both South Florida boys, and we've always just talked Panther hockey and Grateful Dead. So we thought we'd bring it on to the podcast realm. So Matt, I understand that you have a couple topics for tonight. What do you have for us today?
Yeah, no, Tom, I think this is gonna be fun. We have a lot of stuff to go over tonight. I mean, the NHL's been pretty wild, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
yeah, the NHL's been pretty crazy in the last, I would say, 2 years with the pandemic, having two really close seasons together. There's been a lot of craziness, but I think this year, the season, there's a lot to recap. We can get a couple things off our chest. The off season's been interesting. I know you probably have some interesting stuff about it to talk
Yeah.
about with the off season, so we can get to that. And I was thinking we could talk about some of the division breakdown and kind of based on what's happened last year and this off season, what's going to potentially happen coming up this year. And I think as a Panther fan, from what we've all heard around the NHL world, there's a lot of chatter for the Panthers right now, and it's really exciting news. So, um, yeah, anything you want to kind of get off your chest?
Yeah, it's really exciting news to be a Florida Panther fan, and I think one of the things that I don't think a lot of people have really recognized the fact that we're now entering the NHL. By when I say we're going to ESPN. ESPN is going to give the Florida Panthers and the NHL such an avenue to grow the game, such an absolute ability to be on the TV in every bar, every restaurant, and every family room. So I think we're going to find that the Florida Panthers will grow in numbers, and especially with such an exciting team, it's a real year for the Panthers to capitalize on this and to take the success and generate, positivity and possibly a buzz around South Florida. So I'm really excited for the season, especially of what Bill Zito and what Dale Talon had set up for Bill Zito. I'm really excited for this season. Truly, really excited.
Wow. To be honest with you, I didn't even really think of that. I mean, the ESPN, upside for the Florida Panthers in general is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive. I mean, we have the Miami Heat, who, when I was growing up and stuff, I mean, we had a couple of really good teams, and then obviously when Shaq came and Wade was a youngster, um, that kind of blossomed into what it was, and he was all over ESPN, and we never got a look at a real NHL,
Right.
you know, market like this in South Florida on a big name, network. So it's going to be really interesting. Um,
You can only do
which
so much with Fox Sports Sun. You know what I mean? Like you can really only go so far.
yeah,
Like as much fun as I love that, we are Fox Sports. We are
yeah,
Florida. You know what I mean?
Bally Sports now, Bally Sports now.
Bally Sports, which are garbage, hot garbage. I hope you hear that, Bally Sports. You guys are terrible. That was the
You know
worst.
what, Tom? Just to throw this out there, personally, I'm in no realm to be talking trash to anybody about any networks because that's all I have. That's all
Yeah,
I have.
dude. I'll say it now. I'll say it now. I haven't watched it on a network that I paid for in a long time.
I can't say the same, all right? But you know what? You know what? I love it. It's worth every penny. It's worth all the minutes. I travel a lot. I'm on the road a lot.
Yeah,
And it's really interesting to be able to watch the team anywhere I am in the country.
that's cool.
Um, and now with ESPN, I'm a little interested to see how that's going to go, how many national games we get. Maybe, I don't know how the scheduling is going to work. I'm not putting any words in anybody's mouth, but hypothetically, if the Panthers are having a good year, will ESPN pick up a game when they have nothing going
They
on?
do that naturally. I mean, they do that. I
I
know.
feel like they
My
will.
understanding with basketball, I think they had a lot of games that really focused on the Warriors, like a couple years ago, and the Warriors just kind of shat the bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they moved a lot of games to. They'll move them to the teams that are going to bring interest, going to generate those views. So
Yeah.
hopefully, Florida has an exciting enough team with that high octane offense.
That's all I've been hearing about on all the the NHL network stations and
Yeah.
shows they've got going on, and any podcast you listen to right now in the NHL, most people are talking about the Panthers, about what success they had in the last couple of years, but really what they have going forward. It's crazy exciting, and anybody that knows me personally will definitely say I'm the Cats fan that will say every year that the Panthers, this is the year they're going to go far. And
Same.
maybe it's because I'm a Sagittarius. I'm super optimistic about everything, which is sad, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's sad. But anyway, yeah, it's crazy. I can't get the smile off my face when I talk about the Panthers now.
It's a
crazy.
running gag in my family. I'll always tell my dad, I'm like, you wouldn't believe the guys that we signed. We have this dude, he's going to break out. His underlying numbers are incredible. Like, I'm talking about Nolan Chara here acting like he's Wayne Gretzky. I'm like so excited about him. And then my dad's always like, they always suck. And I'm like, I've been right the past couple of years, Dad. We're good. Like, I've been right. So you know, if you throw enough stuff at the wall, it's gotta stick. So I'm the same way. I'm always stoked, always excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Same way.
Well, with that said, I just want to point this out. I would say one of the most incredible games I've ever been to in terms of an epic hockey game, but it was against the Rangers.
Yeah.
It was Grateful Dead night. We're both
Sweet.
Grateful Dead fans. I know you are coveted for this shirt. My dad has one of them, if not two, in his possession. So if I ever get a hold of one, I might be able to have your name on it. We'll see.
I've got a tie-dye Grateful Dead one. I've got like a tie-dye Panther Dead one.
We'll have to work something out. Maybe a Grateful Dead hockey Panther shirt.
Yeah, next pod I'll wear that. Next pod I'll wear it. It's got the dancing bear, and the dancing bear is wearing a Panther jersey. It's pretty cool.
That's incredible, and I'll tell you what. I think you just inspired my first tattoo.
Ooh, I just got a tattoo recently.
I think you just inspired my first tattoo. I think I want to get a dancing bear with a Panther jersey on.
That I would get one. I'd get one. I was gonna do one.
This is what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
And he's gonna have he's gonna be standing there like he's waiting on a train or some shit with like either holding a guitar case or with a fucking acoustic guitar just like resting on the ground, just like ready to sling it. That's it. That's gonna happen.
He's ready.
That's my first. He's ready. That's happening.
That's great. I wanted to do one of like the dancing bears wearing all my favorite like pro sports teams, and then they're all like doing the hobbies. You know what I mean? So like have like a bear with a St. Lawrence jersey on, have a bear with a Panther jersey, with a Cubs jersey, a Raider jersey, and they're all like carrying surfboards and skis and like books and shit. Thought that'd be pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, anyways.
Love it.
Okay, what was I going to say? You totally we went on this tangent about the Grateful Dead bears here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What man, lost my train of thought. We were talking about the offseason moves.
Yeah.
This year. And what do you think was the largest offseason move by the Florida Panthers? I mean, there's so much movement going on, especially this year in the NHL. But I mean,
we're talking just Panthers?
Just Panthers, the largest offseason move that we made. That can mean addition or subtraction.
All right. Well, this is a really tough, and I think this is going to come to a surprise to your ears coming from me.
Yeah.
Because I think when I play hockey myself, I love to be the sneaky little shit in the corner that just I'm always open because no one can keep up with me because I'm just never anyway.
Yeah.
I think the person that I'm thinking of is Gustav Forsling.
Dude, that contract is going to be an absolute bargain. He signs a deal. I wish I had the numbers right now. Such a team-friendly deal. I think watching him last year, in terms of all of the players, even Reinhart, even addition with Bennett, even re-signing Duclair, they're all great players. I think Gustav Forsling, for what he is and what the Panthers need, he's going to be so much better than people have any idea. Like, it's going to blow their mind. Wait, okay, I'll give you – all right, I always love to play devil's advocate. I agree. I think Gustav Forsling at the number that we have, I mean, you're watching Darnell Nurse and Seth Jones get paid 9 sheets. I mean, this is a bargain bin deal, okay? This is like your jacket that you have on. That's a bargain bin. You have the Gustav Forsling of nice coats on. Okay, but ready? What if Gustav Forsling is just another Mike Matheson?
Well, I can already,
No?
to be honest with you,
Yeah.
and I hate to get to this point so quickly, but I can almost prove it wrong already, like instantly.
Okay.
Only because Matheson was such a liability like Yandel.
But when
I
Matheson
don't think
entered the league, remember how exciting he was for us during that little playoff run? And we were like, man, this kid's legit. And then all of a sudden, nothing.
Well, the thing with Matheson, and it's almost the same exact thing for me with Yandel, and it always has been. There's always been a pit in my stomach when they have the puck.
Yeah.
They're
In
and
the
like
defensive
no
zone.
matter what, no matter in any zone realistically, but no matter what, there's just something in my belly that tells me when they touch the puck that I'm not comfortable. Like
Yeah, that's fair.
and
The
to
opposite
flip
feeling
side of
about
that,
Yeah.
the flip side of that, the person that I had the opposite feeling about that with was Chris Drieger. Chris Drieger, now that he's gone, he's the opposite of that. Just to go on off a tangent right there, but he had the opposite effect. He calmed me when he was in goal. Like
Oh my
I
gosh.
didn't get nervous.
Absolutely.
You feel the same
100%.
way?
Dude, I need to like get a prescription for like some anxiety medication when Bob's in
Calm
net.
down.
When Bob's in net, dude. Seriously,
have a
when
blue light.
yeah, dude, when Bobrovsky's in net, we could have a 4-goal lead in like with like 2 minutes left in the third. I'm going, oh shit, when's it gonna happen? You know what I mean?
There's
like,
a pit in your stomach. Exactly.
Yeah, there's a pit. There's always a pit. Chris Drieger did have, like what you said, a very calming presence, and he was.
And last thing about Drieger, I'll say, and I do want to touch on the Kraken a little bit. Speaking of offseason, before we get to the division breakdown, maybe some season recap from last year, but I saw Drieger in his last AHL game in Springfield. It was one of my girls. Like we were dating for a couple months, right? We went out on a date. We drove like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You remember when I went? And it was right before the pandemic started. And it was right before he got the starts in the NHL. He got a couple starts before they called it. Excuse me. And that was, I'll tell you what, he looked decent, didn't look great, but it was also one of Henrik Borgstrom's last games for Springfield. And he looked like he didn't belong as a Panther. Like he just wanted to be elsewhere.
Borgstrom, dude, what a saga. I'm happy it's over. I've got
That's a rabbit hole for another.
That's another podcast. I could go on an entire rant, like just a rant about Borgstrom. I mean,
I think what we can do with that one is we can save a segment for like people that could have been and should have been but weren't.
Kyle Rao. There's a name.
Yeah, let's pinch onto that one. Put it aside for a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so off season, real quick. We've got Forsland, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible signing.
Great signing.
Is there a bad signing that you think the Panthers came up with at all this year? Or maybe in the last few years that you think is kind of where
obviously, I'm not
besides Yandel.
Oh, well, Bob.
Yeah.
I knew, dude.
It's an obvious answer.
I'm not
trying to tee you up for that.
This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted out of that offseason. I wanted Leonard and Panarin. You could have gotten both. But instead you got Bob. You know? Like,
all right.
I just can't. Anyways, I have a hard on for Leonard. I think he's an incredibly underrated goalie. I think finally people are now beginning to realize how fantastic he is. I love his story about mental health.
Yeah.
It's just cool. So I was stoked. But I don't actually I'm in this weird place where like I have a Bobrovsky jersey and like I root for Bob. I want Bob to be really, really good, as all of us do. And like I'm just waiting for him to like find his game again. But I'm worried that it's just like the ship sailed, you know? So
well, I'm here to calm your mind, brother.
Yeah.
Because I'm the most optimistic person you can be talking to right now, and I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I will tell you what. Bobrovsky, hot take. Potential hot take, but it's $10 million contract. It's no hot take, a $10 million contract.
Yeah.
He's going to have, if not the best year of his career, he's going to have a top 5 year in the NHL this year for top 5 goalies.
Okay.
And maybe not exactly number of wins, but in terms of
save percentage.
In terms of like, maybe not even necessarily that, but in terms of like the important stuff, like 5-on-5 goals, things like that. Like
Okay.
I think he's going to have an extremely solid year because our defense is going to be solid in front of him, healthy. This is all speculation healthy. And I think overall our offense is going to be so good that the defense isn't going to have to freaking stress.
Yeah. I mean, we are going to be such a puck possession team. It's absurd.
If I have to say $10 million contract, yeah, that's a tough one. That's an obvious answer, though. Give me one quick answer, and we can move on to another topic.
Montour.
But okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. That's fair. The one where I was like, "Ooh, really? You signed him for that much?" Thank God they didn't sign Zdeno Chara, though.
All right.
I'll take Brandon Montour over Z any day.
I may have sent a tweet out about signing Z, but nobody quote me on that.
I mean, I like the concept. In theory, Zdeno Chara being on the Panthers is fun. It's fun, but we already did that. Actually, I take it back. I think Joe Thornton's a bad signing. I think that's a bad signing. There's no risk to it, but I think that log jams up the centers, and I love what Noel Acciari brings, and Anton Lundell's fighting for a spot too. Where does Joe Thornton go? You know what I mean?
Here's the thing about Thornton, and I was going to touch on this. Is a good time to touch on him because we don't have to go too deep into it, and I don't really have a lot to say about him because I don't really care too much, to be honest. But I think realistically, he can play anywhere they need him to go.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Yeah.
So with that said, from a coach's perspective, I think realistically it's a good signing because hopefully he can stay healthy.
Right.
At his age, if he can stay healthy, he's an asset. If he's not healthy, it's really not a liability at $750 a year.
Right.
So there's upside in the contract. The fact that he chose the Panthers, I think, goes a long way in the other player's head.
Right. I agree.
With things like that, I don't know if that's going to be worth a lot. I think it will be in the long run. In the depth of the season, when there are injuries to maybe a Barkov or a Huberdeau or someone big where he has to play third-line minutes or second-line minutes just to get by, he's a guy you want on the ice because I listened to, I think it was one of the Panther pods recently, and they were talking about it's basically where his stats, he doesn't turn the puck over. He has great 5-on-5 numbers, and he's just a guy that cerebrally is going to outplay the youngster most times out of 10, I would say.
Yeah, the guy's a Hall of Famer.
So realistically, you can't hate it. Can you dislike it? Yes.
I worry about the log jam, and I totally can see what he brings, but maybe it's just the old Panther fan in me that's being oh, these guys are coming here to retire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Love it.
I think it's cool that this guy's cup chasing. It's awesome. It's really cool.
Yep.
And he's using us to chase. We're the team that he's going to use to win a ring. That's badass. That's sick.
That is, well, like I said, I mean, I think from a coach's and a player's perspective, I think the major part of that is that point right there. That he picked the Panthers to actually cup chase, and he's you guys got it, let's get it. I'm over. That motherfucker does not. Sorry for swearing if anybody's earmuffs. That motherfucker overseas is playing every summer.
Yeah, at HC Davos.
So
yeah,
you can't hate it.
Yeah, I like his work ethic. I'm excited, but at the same time, that's the only one. You pushed me for one. I gave you two.
No. So Great answer. All right, well, let's go with the Kraken real quick. They stole Drieger from us.
Yep.
Great guy. We knew he was gone. Doesn't hurt us.
For sure. No.
Anybody else they get from us as a forward potentially, we might have been hurting if they take a Vetrano, if they take someone like that.
Right.
It's all good. We got lucky.
I don't think we got lucky. I think we have a good GM. I think that's
okay.
Yeah.
Well, the way it all played out in general, I think you need a little bit of luck. You can't be, you know, in any way, shape, or form. You never know what's going to happen. So that's the only reason I say lucky. But realistically, the Kraken, I think, have a solid squad. I think, personally, and really all I want to say about them, I think they have a chance to maybe make the playoffs, but I don't think they will. I don't think
Yeah.
they're going to sniff it.
I don't think.
I think a lot of people think they will, and I think that's nutso, but
They'll
whatever.
be in the range between like 32nd and 20 and 20, in my opinion.
That's a big stretch, but all right.
32nd, they could be dead last. I know
Give
Buffalo
me-
and Arizona are on the tankathon, but
All right. Give me a scenario where the Kraken make the playoffs.
okay. All the California teams are hot garbage. Okay, that's 3 of the teams in your division. You are playing against beaten, battered, old, and rebuilding there. Okay, so who do you have left? You have Arizona. Okay, you have Vancouver.
They have 54 points last year, Arizona.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you don't have any real competition in that division at all. That they might just by default of being a team that has players who are competent and have a pulse, they might make the playoffs because that division that's the worst division in hockey right now. The worst. Period.
I'm glad you said that because honestly, that's the only answer that. I mean, there's nothing else to talk about with the Kraken.
Wait,
so anyway,
wait. Yeah, they're going to be. They're going to be in that Atlantic. No, and then in the Pacific Division, right? So it's going to be
they're in the
Anaheim. Okay, wait. So last year the worst teams were Anaheim.
In the Han.
Yeah. Yeah. Anaheim, Sharks, Kings. Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs. Half their division, they're in the bottom 20 of the league. Like, they're going to make the playoffs.
Well, here's the thing. It's going to be interesting to see how it all goes.
Yeah.
In terms of playing other teams for the first time in a while, too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm with you, though. That take you had you stole the thought right out of my mind.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I also think a team where you have Yanni Gourde as your top center is probably not going to be very good. Same with Jordan Eberle. Yanni Gourde would have been a fantastic complementary third line center for us.
I have a comeback to that. I think look at the Islanders.
Okay.
Right? The Islanders are not made up of 3 studs and they're not made up of a stud top 6.
Right.
They're made up of workhorse players that are all really good. And I think that's what the Kraken are built to be.
Are they the Islanders of the West? That's cool.
I don't know if I've heard that take yet, but if it is, boom, boom.
That's you. That's you. That's Matt. Matt's take, everyone. In writing, Matt said.
I think it's a good one.
The Islanders of the West. That'd be so cool. I would love to see some.
I would. You got Chris Drieger and Grubauer. Those are studs.
That's a fantastic tandem. That's a fantastic tandem.
Drieger could start for them easy.
Yeah, Drieger should be. The Grubauer thing baffles me.
But I think they did that because they want a good tandem. I don't blame them, honestly.
Yeah. They saw what Vegas
spend the money on a goalie.
Right.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, anyways.
I don't hate it. So let's move on to him. The one person I really want to talk about that is leaving a current rival or this past season previous rival is Dougie Hamilton or Dougie Hamilton, however the hell you say it.
Yeah, Dougie Hamilton. Sure.
Bye-bye. Like, Carolina,
dude,
in my opinion, is one of the best, if not the best coach team in the league.
Yeah.
And they just dumped. I don't even think it was just them. I have to do a little more research on who else they dumped, Carolina. But
Jake Bean, their goalie. I mean, dude, like they're not going to be the same team. They won't nearly be as dangerous.
I don't understand it from the leadership, but hey, they could still be decent. I don't want to hate. I don't want to hate on them.
They will.
But realistically, I think that was a terrible look for them. In general, I kind of feel bad for Carolina Hurricanes fans because they're going to have a tough time this year. It's not going to be
bad
easy.
for Trocheck. That's it.
I don't feel bad for him.
I love Vincent Trocheck. Do you remember when Vincent Trocheck?
He should have stayed on his skates better. He should have either sold the trip better or fucking handled the puck better. One of the two.
Do you remember when he convinced the ref who waved off a goal during the shootout? He convinced the ref that it was a goal. He went to the ref and told the ref everything that he did was legal, and the ref's like, you know what, you're right.
Well,
And
why
it was
would the ref have? Why would the ref have anything to do? Like, why would he
because
listen to him?
he had skated backwards, and Vincent Trocheck was like, I did not skate backwards, and told him all the rules. He was arguing with him for 5 minutes, and finally the ref just goes like this. Never seen it in my entire life. Good goal. I'm like, wow, lawyer Vinny. Incredible.
Man.
Yeah.
Panther fans around will probably agree. It's been a tough road as a Panther fan. We've had some interesting stuff, some interesting goes at it, but
we sucked.
But I think all right. So let's with that said, let's break down a little bit of the full NHL season real quick.
Okay.
And let's break down what the Panthers did last year, just in terms of some numbers. I have a couple, like maybe biggest upset, biggest surprises as a team and individual, and then we'll go on to the division breakdowns, and we'll call it a night. And
yeah, absolutely. That sounds great.
Cool. All right. So real quick, the top 8 teams, I'm just going to list them off real quick. We're Colorado, this is in specific order: Colorado, Vegas, Carolina, Florida, Pittsburgh, Toronto, Washington, and Tampa. Tampa won the cup back-to-back. They were number 8 seed, right, going into the playoffs.
Yep.
Buffalo was the last seed. Anaheim, New Jersey, Columbus, Detroit, San Jose, the Kings, and Vancouver going up down to 24.
Yeah.
So with that said, with those listing those teams right there, even thinking of the teams in between, what's the biggest surprise of a team and the biggest letdown of a team in your personal opinion?
For next season?
No, from this past season.
This past season? I would say the biggest surprise and the biggest letdown for me were the Blue Jackets. I thought the Blue Jackets really did a good job of imploding themselves because they were building momentum, and it just like the wind was taken out of their sails, and they have fallen from grace. Because I remember they were kind of like, to me, they were like what I wanted the Panthers to be, a team that was winning, having success, making history. And I was watching them being like, wow, if Columbus could do it, we could do it. So, that was surprising me that how bad they were. Let me think. I would say a team that was an upset. Honestly, I think that I knew that that Dallas was going to be terrible. Same with Nashville. That was no surprise to me, but I was happy that I was right. I was surprised I was right. If that makes any sense, because every single guy who did the NHL things, everyone was saying it's gonna be Nashville, Dallas, Carolina, Tampa Bay. That's what they're saying. Those are the standings.
You're saying they were a letdown? You're saying they were a letdown
huge
too?
Letdowns. Yeah, huge letdowns.
Who's a surprise? Who's a surprise?
I knew it. I was surprised I was right that they were going to be letdowns.
Yeah. No, I'm a Dallas hater. I went to college in Texas, so
yeah.
But who is a surprise team that you think wasn't supposed to be that great, that ended up being great last year that you didn't expect? And really, playoffs included. Playoffs included.
Us for sure. I thought we were going to be terrible. I thought it was just another Panther season.
Really?
I thought we were going to suck. I mean, at first, when we signed Carter Verhaeghe, I was like, Carter who? You know what I mean? And I was just kind of like, this seems very Panther stuff. But then the more I read, the more I kind of learned.
You got to do some research on them.
Yeah. I was like, this is exciting. I would say, the biggest surprise is actually the Panthers, me thinking they were going to be good and them actually being really good. Big surprise.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Total fair take. Even throughout the NHL, I think that's a total fair take. Because every list of surprise players from last year, the Panthers had 3 or 4 guys on it. So,
right.
I think for me personally, the biggest surprise was Minnesota overall. I didn't expect them to be as good as they were, as excited as they were.
Yeah.
They were, besides the Panthers, I think they were a team that was fun to watch that I had no clue about. Realistically, didn't know anything about the team. And I think the biggest letdown overall, including the playoffs, was the Oilers for me. If you have fucking Connor McDavid, and you have Leon Draisaitl, and you have whoever the fuck else, if you don't make it to the finals of your conference or your division, whatever you want to call it, the end, just make it to the end. Make it.
Yeah, they suck. It's my favorite. I love it. I
And
love
yeah,
how
go
good they
ahead
are.
and sign Darnell Nurse to a $25 trillion contract. Because guess what? That is not going to win you jack shit, Oilers.
It's awesome how
Mackenzie
bad they are.
Weegar was
Yeah.
dirt. He was nothing.
7th round
He's a
pick.
stud.
Yeah, he's gross. He's actually like fantastic.
Stud.
He's
His
so
numbers from last year, he led the NHL in 5-on-5 points for defensemen.
good. And that's a guy, and this is my theme. Everyone shits on Dale Talon, and sure, Dale Talon overall.
Oh no, he had some great ones. Yeah,
That Mackenzie Weegar is a Dale Talon pick. He took that guy 7th overall, and I'm pretty sure Dale Talon went to Halifax and watched him play, and then was like, "We need to draft
Can I
this."
add something to this? Can I
Yeah.
add something to that real
Yeah.
quick? I don't know if you're going to hear many people with this take, but I think the reason he got so good so quickly was because of the people around him. And I think Ekblad, so let's start with Willie Mitchell.
Oh
Right?
my gosh. Yeah.
Willie Mitchell influenced Ekblad. We all saw it firsthand because social media started booming. We all started seeing that. And then Ekblad and the Barkovs and the Hubertos started taking in the guys like Weegar and Vetrano, all those younger
Brian
guys
Campbell,
that came in.
too.
Brian Campbell too.
Yep. Ed Jovanovski.
Those are my guys.
Dude,
we can
Brian
talk about
Campbell is
those.
the most underrated Panther of all time. Underrated.
Tom. Let's save that. We're gonna go one of the next pods. We're gonna go into some previous guys because we have a lot to talk about with them.
Yeah.
But all right. So anyway, change of subject.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, buckled up. I'm ready for you.
The Cats are going to make it to the Stanley Cup final this year.
Yeah.
This is my hot take for the year,
Okay.
which I think is kind of hot. But I think not only are we going to win the division, I think Boston is going to get second. I think Tampa is going to get third, and I think Toronto is going to get fourth.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
So starting our division breakdown, that's my top 4 in our division in the Atlantic this coming year. Florida, Boston, Tampa, Toronto. And I'm only saying Toronto in the top 4. If Austin Matthews and those big guns stay healthy, if not, they're going to be in the bottom. They're going to get trampled because the top 3 teams, Tampa, Boston, and Florida, are going to be, they're plus minus juggernauts.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're plus minus juggernauts. And Toronto, we all know Toronto, they give up goals like you and I both.
No one's business. And their goaltending was not solved. Yeah. I mean, they're worse.
No.
They're worse.
It's going to be interesting, but let's hear your top 4. Let's get your top 4 for the Atlantic, and then we'll move on to the next division.
All right, so I would say it's probably going to be Florida, who probably going to take the division win. I would say it's probably going to be Florida and Tampa Bay battling for that spot. It's going to be close. I am hesitant to say Boston. I have a feeling that Boston will not be, especially with the departure of David Krejci. I do not see them being as dominant as they once were. Obviously, they always make the playoffs, so you kind of have to put them in there, but I would put them as a bubble team. I would say probably after that, you're going to have to put either Toronto or Montreal. But I think a dark horses are the Ottawa Senators. I really like that team a lot. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, With that said, is there one team in that division that you think is going to surprise people?
Ottawa.
You think Ottawa? You think that's
Ottawa.
one?
It'll be surprising to people how bad Boston will be.
I'm going to say Detroit. I mean, Detroit last season with 39 points. They had 17 wins in regulation, right?
They're terrible.
Or no, 17 wins. Sorry, 17 wins.
Yeah.
That's just really bad. And I think there's only one way they can go is up. But they're going to have to beat teams like Tampa, Boston, and Florida, and Toronto, and I don't think they're going to do that consistently at all. They might beat those 4 teams. Maybe you add Montreal in there. They might be those 5 teams, maybe 5 times all year, maybe 6.
Combined.
In regulation. Exactly. It's going to be tough to beat them with Detroit's team, but
Their
I'll
wins
tell
are
you
more
what.
on the West Coast.
I'll tell you what, though.
What?
Because they're playing the rest of the league, they could surprise somehow if they're healthy. I don't know. I'm just going to throw Detroit out there. I think they might somehow
Maybe.
sneak in there and just randomly win games.
That'd be cool.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the Metro, though.
Okay, Metro, easy.
I'll let you go first here. I want to hear your top four.
Islanders are probably going to win that.
Who?
The Islanders.
Okay.
Probably the Islanders, Capitals. This is the usual suspects every time.
Yeah.
Islanders 1, I would say probably Capitals 3, the Penguins 2, because they always end up being 2, and the Rangers are the 4th seed. That's the easiest. Yeah.
Rangers are the 4th seed.
Yeah, and I just don't find the Rangers their hotness. They were literally on fire at the end of the season. I just don't see that continuing. I don't, but I can see them make the playoffs. So
that's fair. In terms of a team that you think is going to surprise in that division, who do you think it's going to be?
I think
if there's one that
Philly.
might maybe that's not in your top 4.
Oh, Philly will be bad. It would be surprising for people how bad Philly is. But I think the team that everyone needs to watch out for are the Devils. They're making some smart signings, and all their young guns are starting to kind of mature a little bit, even though they're still, I don't know, probably 21. I mean, they're a team that could do something. And they're coming off PK Subban last year of his contract. They could be legit. So we'll see.
For sure. No, I would say for me exactly. I mean, it's hard not to agree with that. I think New Jersey's got a lot of room to go up, just kind of like I said with Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit hasn't quite made the moves that New Jersey made, but I think Detroit, I'll tell you what, they got Nedeljkovic from Carolina.
Fleeced Carolina.
I will tell you what, that right there is part of the reason why I picked them, because he can be, I think, better than what a lot of people give him credit for. He's a solid goalie. He's a solid goalie, and if you have that, and Detroit likes a solid goalie, so, but anyway, I think New Jersey's a great pick. So my top 4 for that: Carolina, Washington, Isles in 3rd, and the Rangers in 4th. I forgot about Carolina. Shit. I think Carolina is going to win the division only because they're the best coach team in that division. It's hard to say that with Washington's coach.
And the Islanders. Barry Trotz.
I think Brind'Amour doesn't have. I don't know, man. I think the Islanders just have a better overall
system.
Yeah, I don't know.
That you could say the coach establishes.
No, I will say this. Timeout. I will say this.
Yeah.
If you put the Islanders' defense and goalie on Carolina, they win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Carolina's defense and goalie overall, it was not very good.
It used to be.
Why they didn't. But it's never been the Islanders good.
No, the Islanders are horrible. Yeah.
I think overall Carolina has a great team system that balances very well. That's a long shot saying Carolina's winning that division. Long shot. But I think they're going to squeak it out down to the end. The Rangers are high potency, but I think they're going to give up a lot of goals too. It's tough to say. I don't know. Adam Fox.
That division is going to be tight.
Can I give you an Adam Fox story?
Sure.
I went to the RPI Harvard game.
Okay.
At RPI Stadium. In 2019, right before the pandemic. It was like the September, October, November, something like that before the pandemic, right? Whatever it was. And I'm pretty sure it might have been the year before that, actually. Adam Fox was at Harvard, and I'm at the game, and the fire alarm goes off during the game, during the puck drop for the second period.
Okay.
There was a smoke alarm going off because someone burned the popcorn in the concession stand.
No way. Yeah.
So we had to exit the ice. It was like 25, 30 degrees out. We're on there. The team is on the buses, full uniforms and everything. We ended up going back and finishing the game like 40 minutes later, but it was wild. Just because of burnt popcorn, we had to exit the arena for like almost an hour. It was brutal. But anyway, let's go on to. Yeah, he was on the team then. And anyway, it was wild. Let's go to the Central Division real quick.
Okay.
So, all right. Here, I'll go first here. I think the Central Division's interesting. And I'm looking at the Central Division from 2 seasons ago, not what they did this year.
Yeah.
Colorado, obviously, they're ridiculous. I think Dallas is going to be better than people think they were going to be, but they're going to be better than last year, I feel like. Is Jonathan Taves back? If Jonathan Taves is back, I think Chicago is going to be an instantly better team.
Yep.
So let's go here. Let's go Colorado, Minnesota, Dallas, Chicago.
Okay.
My top 4. I think St. Louis is going to get 5. I think St. Louis is going to be a little bit worse than people think, and I think Chicago is going to be better than people think.
I agree.
I think those are my 2. Minnesota, I think they're going to be decent. I'll tell you what, they're a stretch putting them in there. But I like them. I think they're going to be fun to watch.
Too. So,
all right, cool.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think for the Central?
Colorado's taking that. It's probably going to be Colorado, Winnipeg, Minnesota, and Chicago. Those are probably the teams there.
You like Chicago coming back this year?
Yeah. Chicago is 4 with Marc-Andre Fleury leading the way. Kirby Dach is a player to be reckoned with. They've got DeBrincat. They still have Kane. They still have Taves. Those guys are deal makers. They have Riley Stillman. So I can see St. St. Louis probably pushing for a wild card spot, but that's really it. Yeah.
I think that's where St. Louis is in my head too. I think they're going to be pushing for that wild card spot. It's going to be tough to see.
Yeah.
But anyway, Pacific Division. This one, interesting shit. This is for me, besides our division with the Panthers.
Yeah.
I think this is the most intriguing of the top 4 or 5 teams.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
I have to rant real quick on Vegas. All right. Yeah. They can go shove it. I'm ready for them to not make the playoffs. I'm ready for them. This is me just being not so fucking thrilled with Vegas lately. They let Flower go in a really shitty way. He's a stud. But realistically, I don't think Vegas is going to... I think they're going to be the bubble team next year. I think Calgary is going to be better. I think Calgary is going to be better than people think. Yep. I think Vancouver is going to be a little bit better next year. They had Vancouver had 78 points last year. Calgary had 79, or not last year, in 1920 season. Okay. In that division, the way they stack up against each other and the way I'm kind of going at the way they play everyone else throughout the league. I think Edmonton's going to struggle a little bit. I think they're going to get the 3rd or the 4th, something in there. But Vegas, man, I have a bone to pick with them. I really, I'm over the hype. I'm over it. I've been to Vegas during the season, the NHL season, and I see it everywhere. And I'm like, you know what? People talk so much shit about the Panthers being a non-traditional market. My whole life, like growing up down there in South Florida, I don't know how much you remember, but for me, being really close to the stadium, we used to have really, really big rivalry with Montreal back in the day.
Yeah, because they treat us like shit.
The amount of shit talking that I used to hear from Montreal fans about us being like an expansion team and they're the original and all, like, you guys can go shove it too. But with Vegas, I have a bone to pick because they're the new kid on the block and they came in hot right away. And
you need to suck first before you're good. You need to experience the game. Yeah.
I don't appreciate it.
Well, it's a good way to build a market. Florida did the same way. So hopefully it's consistent.
Pick with them. And I think Vegas, though, ultimately, I think they're going to decline in the next couple of years. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were. It's going to be better. So my top four, we'll go Edmonton, Vancouver, Vegas, LA.
LA.
Oh, sorry, Kraken. Kraken
Okay.
third.
Yeah.
And then we'll go Calgary fourth.
And
Did I say Vegas?
You said Vegas, I think.
Edmonton, Vegas, Vancouver, Kraken fourth, and we'll go Calgary fifth on the bubble. We'll go Calgary fifth on the bubble. I like that. Vegas is going to sneak in there. I think they're good, but
Vegas is really good.
Gosh, I'm just
tired
tired
of them winning it by a long shot.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
I'm just being a pessimist. I hate them.
I wouldn't let any of these teams make the playoffs except for Vegas. If it was up to me, none of them are worthy. Not one team on that list is worthy of making the playoffs. If the league did it, no division, just they took the top 16 teams, no one except for Vegas would make the playoffs.
Yep.
That is the weakest division. There are superstars in that division too, which is crazy. I'll do my power rankings and I'll explain why. I've got Vegas, probably Calgary, Edmonton, and then I don't want to give a fourth playoff seed to any of those teams because it's wrong. But I'll say
Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle, and then Vancouver's a bubble team.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got Vancouver and Calgary switch there.
Yeah.
I think here's my bone to pick with Edmonton. All right. You've got the best player in the world.
Two of the best.
Yeah. Two of the best.
Yeah.
But can you call them the best? Now here's my argument. Can you call them the best if their defense sucks and they haven't won anything?
Well, wait.
They're great scorers.
Draisaitl's pretty good on the defensive end, isn't he?
I wouldn't say he's. I'm going to look it up. Hang with me real quick.
I'm hanging out. I don't know, man. There's a lot of issues with that team. That team's poorly managed.
They were last season. McDavid was plus 21 and Draisaitl was plus 29. Okay, that's great. They scored. He had scored 105 points in 56 games. That's ridiculous. And he was plus 21.
And they don't make the playoffs.
Barkov scored.
What is going on?
Huberdeau scored 61 points and was plus 12. Connor McDavid was 105 points, plus 21. That's only 9 plus or minus over Huberdeau, right?
Right.
How many points did he have more than Huberdeau?
Oh, a ton.
44.
Yeah.
That's sick. Huberdeau only had 60 points.
And Huberdeau had a monster year.
But
he's stuck on Edmonton. If you took Connor McDavid and you put him here with our team structure, we'd win.
Yeah. Dude. But he's never going to leave because he's going to make more money by being an individual than a team player.
I just don't
same with Draisaitl.
It's set up like the Pens. They're literally set up like the old school Pens with 1-2 punch, Crosby, Malkin down the middle, and they're better. They're both arguably probably better than both those two guys, which I know is sacrilegious.
Shut out in the playoffs 4-0 to Winnipeg.
I know. Winnipeg's good. Winnipeg's really good. People sleep on Winnipeg.
Here's the problem with that. The problem with that. If I'm Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, they need to rethink what's going on there.
Yeah, big time.
Whether that's individually or together or as a team, whatever the fuck needs to happen. Because realistically, If you can't win with those two guys side by side like that, or a 1-2
Yeah.
punch, that's
Or even make the playoffs.
189 points between the two of them last year, and Huberto had 61, Barkov had 58.
Yo, wait, no way. Do they have less combined than McDavid does?
No, but it's close.
It's really close.
61 and 58. I'm not a math guy.
Here, I'll do it. 61.
Bro.
All right, wait. How many points did McDavid have? 105?
105.
Okay,
In 56
combined.
games.
Combined, Barkov and Huberto had 119.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they.
And Connor McDavid was.
Then you could say they played twice the amount of games.
37 power play points for McDavid. So he had like 60-something non-power play, regular 5-on-5.
Silly.
5-on-5 goal points than Huberto had for the season.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Oh, is it 11 o'clock? Oh, it's 10. Ooh.
No, it's 10. But here's the thing, too. I mean, they're going to want so much money wherever they go.
Oh, yeah.
So what's going to happen? Where are they going to go? Who's going to want them?
I don't know. I think there's an issue. You can almost have a player that's too good on your team. And then you're kind of stuck. Like we have Bobrovsky. He's too good. People should take him off our hands. He's too good.
Yeah, too good.
He's too good.
Take him for that $10 million fucking
right.
contract. But I think with Bobrovsky, too, that's a good point. I think his contract is kind of unfair for us, only to the sense that we were desperate.
Yep.
And the goalie market at the time was thin. We had a couple other options.
We had Rob and Leonard right there.
We did. But knowing what was going to happen and the way it was all shaking out and all that, I felt like you and I talked about it when it was happening. Like we thought we were getting Panarin and Bobrovsky. We thought we were getting the package deal, and that would have been get the fuck out of here. I mean, come on.
I don't think we would be as good.
I think we would have been better because I think all Huberto and Barkov need is Panarin is a legit sniper.
The Ranger fan in you is talking.
I'm not a Ranger fan.
Yeah, but he's talking.
I like hockey. I like the Rangers, whatever.
But he's talking.
Tell you what, Artemi Panarin, his quickness and his quick shot. I don't know, man. He's something else.
Yeah, he's good. But we have Sam Reinhart.
Oh, the Panthers are a better team. They're gonna fuck up the Rangers.
No, but I'm saying if we had Bob and Panarin, we wouldn't be nearly as deep.
100% agree, and that's
we're
total upside.
Having not having him, which is kind of crazy. If you would have told me that instead you could have a guy who played fourth line minutes on the Tampa Bay Lightning and he's going to be your savior, I would be like, fuck, right off. Like, no way. So.
Yeah, dude, that was an interesting year last year with Verhaeghe really coming out like that. I mean, I think.
Is it real? Is it real? Yeah, everything says it's going to be real.
Yeah, it's as real as I can fucking dream it up. But I mean, I honestly think Duclair's going to have a better year next year.
Same.
I really, really think he's going to have a very good year.
Yeah.
I think it matters how healthy they stay too.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, is there anything else you need to add on the Panthers? I think Gudas plays a big role that a lot of people don't really think about. I love Gudas. I'm glad they didn't take him from Seattle.
Same.
Man, I think there's a lot of upside to the Panthers, even from last year. It's crazy not to say that. I think they have so many good pieces.
Yeah. This is the best. We're witnessing the greatest Panther team in the history. We're watching it.
We can't get ahead of ourselves. We have to be patient. We have to
Oh, you're
watch
right. I
game by
forgot
game.
the Bad Boys Bergenheim. That line, the Killer Bee line. I forgot. How could I forget the Killer Bee line?
We're gonna get into them. We're gonna talk the Killer Bee line at
The
some
amount
point.
of the amount of skill from who is it? Brad Boys, Sean Bergenheim. Who's the other B?
Was it Bukestad?
It was Bukestad. It was, and then he led the team in points that year. And that was the year we had Peter Mueller and Sean Matthias and all those Scotty
No,
Upshaw.
Mueller wasn't there anymore. I don't think he
I
left
think he
after
was.
because that was the year Huberto was hurt.
Killer B line. Everyone was hurt. Florida Panthers.
All right, let me say this too. I was at the game when Yager got second
Dude, it
all
was
time.
Barkov.
What?
It was Barkov who was the center, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So speaking of Barkov, so I was at the game when Yager got the point for second all time, and he got the I think it was an assist off Barkov or whatever.
Right.
That was pretty wild, and I got to see Yager play live. That was pretty cool as a Panther fan. Is there one thought that going back to a game that you went to or watched on TV that you kind of like, holy shit?
When we almost got kicked out of the stadium in Ottawa,
That was fun.
because of our signs that we brought. That was fun. That was good.
That was awesome.
That was a lot of fun.
All right. So Tom and I go up to Ottawa, and that was pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie, that house that your grandparents have up there is a perfect setting. It's a little far from the stadium, but that's a cool spot.
Yeah, I love that town. It's a good place.
Heck yeah. And we almost got kicked out of the hockey game. Those Canadians weren't so nice in that moment.
They were not. They were mean.
They were mean.
And I remember we lost in a shootout, and that's what sealed the deal for the playoffs, remember?
I do, and it was really heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie, that was a big game. That meant a lot.
That was a huge game. And that was Borgstrom's unveiling. It was his NHL debut. And I was like, this kid's gonna be sick, and he sucked. And I was like, what? I thought it was gonna be a hit.
Borgstrom. Yeah. That was a tough look for the Panthers, but whatever. I mean, I'm glad he's gone and on to bigger and better things. But I think the Panthers have a lot of great depth down.
We have. I mean, Anton Lundell, who we haven't even. That's the first time we've said that this entire.
All right. Podcast. Okay. To round out the pod, let's go with this. All right. Top three lines, or top lines on the Panthers. Ready? All right. So I'm gonna go for Hagee, Barkov, Reinhart, Huberdeau, Sam Bennett. We're gonna go Duclair to start.
100%.
I'm gonna go Lundell centering the third line with. I want to put Vetrano on the third line with him.
Vetrano too.
I want to try it.
Well, he's a scorer. You don't want him on the fourth.
No.
And
I want Tippett with him.
Yeah, that's what I want too. Yo, you're saying the same thing. Absolutely. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I think that
would be
fun to watch.
Mason Marchman, Achari, and then whoever. You can throw in a half on the
Whoever.
Joe Thornton can play fourth. Who cares?
It's such a deep team. It's sick. I feel bad. I honestly feel bad for Coach Q because he's got to pick who's got to play every night. That's a fucking decision right there. Like, dude, what? You have to pick between all those guys every night?
Yeah. And then you have
You just signed Maxine Mammon. You have Luosterainen, who's a beast.
Oh, dude. We have that one guy who's still playing in Finland, who's sick, who we got. No one else is really high on him. I am. What's his name? He played a couple games for us. Finnish, Florida Panther players under contract.
Who are you talking about?
Looking right now. Going on Cap Friendly. Hold up. Dude, where is he? I'm having trouble finding them.
I think
Alexis
Anton Lundell. Sorella?
Yeah.
I liked him, but they weren't so high on him.
Alexis.
They were high on him for a short time, but not very long. They sent him away. I think they put him up for grabs, didn't they? Or no?
No, dude, he's still playing in Finland right now.
Is he?
Yep.
All right. So yeah, I think Anton Lundell.
But we have his rights. Yeah.
Okay. I think Anton Lundell is going to be almost a second coming of Barkov in a way, but
really
quicker. He's a quicker skater from what I've seen. I've watched a lot of the European hockey with him, and I really enjoy watching him play. He's noticeable on the ice in international play, where it's like, yeah, it's bigger ice, but at the same time, you still have to be a great skater to get around quick. I mean, he's a good player. He's cerebral. He fucking thinks the game like a Barkov does. Hard to say. He might not even be our second center at some point during the season. Yeah. I gotta say, like, if he lives up to what he could potentially be, do you think?
Yes. 100%. He's going to be gross. He's going to be fantastic.
I think all right, let's do a
prospect preview next pod.
What is it?
Let's do a Pesky Panther prospect preview.
Holy shit, that was a name.
There you go.
All right, so I think what the folks can expect for the next podcast is a little bit of everything. I think we have a lot to talk about in terms of the former teams. I think we have a lot to talk about with some of the upcoming players, but I think we kind of touched on what we need to.
We could do our favorite old players and then our favorite new players. And like the guys we thought were going to be hits that were actually flips. So we'll see.
I think that's a good one to touch on. I think overall, I think what people really, really want to hear is our take on, the
prospect.
The prospects, the franchise, how everything's doing. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens in terms of Barkov signing, how all that goes. What do you think? What's your initial thought when I bring that up?
Barkov signing, he will sign.
Okay.
They're waiting for him to arrive from Finland, and they're going to do it. It's going to be a big, big freaking thing. It's a huge deal for the franchise, not just something you can zoom on. He's going to have to fly in. They're going to roll out the red carpet. This guy's the face of South Florida sports. So
I agree.
A big deal out of it. Yeah,
I love that. That's perfect.
I'm going to say well said like 10.5 mil, my guess.
Yeah, let's not get into that now.
That's my guess. I'm leaving that. You guys can chew on it.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right, I got to throw a number out there. I'm going to say 9.25.
I like.
I'm only gonna say that because he's gonna have some bonuses in there. He's gonna have some other shit.
Yeah. Income tax.
He might even go a little lower with other bonuses just to appease the team.
That'd be cool.
If he's that kind of guy, I think he is.
I think he is.
It seems like he is. Because I know he's gonna want Huberdeau to re-sign in the near future once his new contract's up too. Potentially, if they want to keep the band together, they might not. It's a business. It happens.
That would be the worst. I don't even want to get into it. I don't want to think about that.
No, it's thoughts down the road.
I hate that. I get it. I hate that thought of those guys not being career Panthers. But anyways,
I want to end on this statistic.
Okay.
McKenzie was 4th on the Panthers scoring last year.
Mackenzie Weegar was 4th. Okay.
4th. Ekblad's coming back next year. That's all I want to say.
Wow. That's it. Perfect. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to the Pesky Panther Pod. This has been episode 1. Matt, always pleasure talking to you, buddy. I love you a lot. And to our award-winning listeners, thank you so much for listening. And we'll you guys will get to hear from us soon. So, all right.
See you soon, guys.
Remember to subscribe. Later.